What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, I am super excited about this issue because it really does give us so much information about this new Omniverse that we've been brought into, because the issue we're covering today is Infinite Frontier issue number 1. Now, if you didn't catch issue number 0, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything that's been going on in this line. And for those of you that are really wondering what the heck is going on in this line, I'm going to do my best in this video to really help people understand what is going on in the Infinite Frontier and how this affects the main DC continuity. But with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we dive into Infinite Frontier issue number 1, we're picking up in the skies, because it appears that there is a shuttle or a pod falling from the sky, and we see it come crashing down to Earth. And upon further inspection, we see this to be Batman. Not just any Batman, but this is Thomas Wayne, the Batman from the Flashpoint scenario. And the people that find this Batman, the people that find Thomas, it's the mother and father of none other than Calvin, aka President Superman, the Superman of Earth 23. The thing about this is, they're not outrageously surprised about this, because the world, at least Earth 23, they know of the multiverse. They know about it because Flash of Earth 0 and the rest of the heroes of Earth 0, now knowing that the Omniverse exists, which means there are multiverse on top of multiverse on top of multiverse. Because when our heroes saved the multiverse from Perpetua in Dark Knight's death metal, everything was put exactly where it belongs. And that means that all the damage from every crisis that has ever happened, it's all been undone. And heroes that we thought long gone are now back in existence. Now, not all of them, but almost every single hero that DC has created is coming back. Or they are back in some capacity, on some Earth, on some planet. And what we're seeing is our heroes from Earth 0 going around to these multiverses and kind of creating teams. Teams to be able to fight the biggest threats the multiverse has to offer. And if need be, all of these multiverses could come together and be one giant fighting force. And that's exactly what we're seeing on Earth 23. We're seeing the Green Lantern, known as Alan Scott. We're seeing Talia al Ghul, Randall Savage, Lex Luthor, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl all working as a team to take down someone trying to mess with the timeline. Now, our team, they make real quick work of this guy. They take him down in a matter of seconds. And Alan Scott lets the team know that he has to get out of here. He has a meeting. He has to meet up with his daughter, Jade. And so we see Green Lantern take off, and as he's making his way through the city, this is where he's intercepted by Obsidian. Now, Obsidian is Alan Scott's son, and right now they're both running late because Jade has asked for them to both meet up. And we really do learn a lot from their conversation. We know that Alan Scott has joined this team to help defend the multiverse. And as they fly over Gotham, they're making their way to the old JSA headquarters that was inside Gotham City. It was kind of Jade's idea for them to all meet up there. And their family, they really haven't been close lately. But to be fair, there has been a lot going on. We had everything that happened with Dark Knight's death metal. The multiverse had been destroyed, it was restarted, and now he's joined a group of heroes in a secret space station so that they can monitor any potential changes in the multiverse and to watch over everyone and everything. And Obsidian tells him, nearly their entire life, they have been separated from one another. Whether it be he was part of the JSA, lost in time, or them erased completely. And now he's kind of got a new lease on life, which is super awesome, and Obsidian is super happy for him, but he wants them to spend more time together as a family. Now, Alan Scott tells his son that they should probably save this conversation for when Jade is around, so they can all discuss this together. And as they make their way into the old JSA headquarters, this is when it literally bursts into flames. A giant blast of green comes out of every window and every doorway. And Obsidian and Green Lantern, they run over into the ruins, trying to find any sign of Jade. Obsidian no longer being able to feel his connection to his sister, wondering where she is. But that's what will bring us to Paris. And in Paris, this is where we meet somebody from some old comics back in the late 90s, I believe, is when she first debuted. And that's Agent Chase, alongside Director Bones, or aka Mr. Bones at one point in time. I believe he began in the comics in somewhere in the mid-80s, I believe. Now, Director Bones, he is the director of the Department of Extra Normal Operations. And Agent Chase, she was a agent of this organization. And the role of the DEO is to monitor those with extra normal powers and to prevent any threat to the general public. And the director has come to Chase because of everything that is happening. The entire world knows about the multiverse, and this is going to worry a lot of people. The director believes that the people shouldn't even know about the multiverse to try to keep them calm, to keep them docile and not worried about threats that are so big they can't even comprehend them. But it's already too late. Everybody knows, and the director is letting her know that moves are currently being made to ensure that another event is stopped before it can ever even begin. And so the DEO is being reinstated, and he's come here to tell Agent Chase that she is also coming back, and it's not necessarily a choice, showing her something on the phone that compels her to do this, even though she doesn't want to. She hates this guy, she doesn't want to be a part of this organization, but it's seeming she has no other option but to do this. Now, this is where we're taken to the House of Heroes, aka the Bleed. And right now we have Thomas Wayne waking back up, starting to slowly open his eyes, only to be met with a barrage of heroes from all across the multiverse. Those heroes including Captain Carrot of Earth 26, Aquawoman of Earth 11, Machine Head of Earth 8, and Mary Marvel of Earth 5. Now, Thomas Wayne waking up and seeing all of these individuals, he immediately panics, he freaks out, throws them all around, and tries to make a run for it. But as he begins to run, he looks around him and sees the giant place that he is in that is called the Bleed, inside the House of Heroes. And this is when he's greeted by Justice Incarnate, all being led by none other than the one and only President Superman. Now, Superman, he asks Thomas exactly what's going on. Why is he here and what is he running from? And Thomas's response is to just go get Barry Allen. And of course, that question is not so easy to do anymore, because you can ask, which Flash am I supposed to get and which Barry Allen? Because there are many of them now, so you gotta tell me exactly which one you're looking for. And that's when we pick up with one of the greatest speedsters of all time, Barry Allen of Earth Zero. Now, right now, Barry is recording a message for Justice Incarnate to let them know what he's doing and kind of do a sit rep of situations. And he lets them know that he's already explored much of the known universe, much of the known multiverse at this point. And as he's going across these travels, he had promised President Superman that he would wait for him before he raced off to New Worlds. But right now, he really wants to try something. He can't just run to New Worlds like he would any other world in the universe, in the multiverse. It's not something that's just further out on the map. But he has a theory that if he vibrates while running through all of these worlds, he can gather enough multiversal energy that will bring him to our mystery world, aka Earth Omega. And with Barry arriving here, he starts to do his checks, realizing this place, it doesn't even have a frequency. It has no vibration whatsoever. And as he starts to investigate this place, he sees the quintessence, all of them lying in ashes on the ground, nothing but their clothing left behind. And as the Flash is standing over all of them, this is where we see the arrival of Psycho Pirate. On his chest, we see the mark of DARKSEID, and we see him immobilize the Flash. And DARKSEID telling Psycho Pirate that he can toy and mess around with the Flash after he has completed his task in this new story that he has been given. And Psycho Pirate lets us know that there is a new crisis coming. But Psycho Pirate tells him that they have to be on the same team, because the Flash is going to help them find something, or better yet, going to help them find someone. Now, this part of the story is extremely fun, because this is where we pick up with Roy Harper, aka Arsenal. And right now, he's in a little diner in the middle of nowhere, presumably thought to be dead. They even named the Teen Titans Academy after him, believing him to be dead. And right now, he's trying to kind of keep it that way, because he really doesn't understand how he's even here right now. He just knows that he is alive. And as he sits in this diner, he's eavesdropping on a conversation where regular people are just talking about the multiverse, because now everybody knows about it, and it is literally the talk of the town. And while some people, they try to rub it off as conspiracy theory, and as people in the diner are having this discussion, one gentleman, he gets really aggressive about all of this. Starts telling them that there's no such thing as the multiverse, that they just need to shut their mouths, so on and so forth. You know, this is what people do when they're scared, when they don't understand something. And this is when Roy stands up and he tells this guy that he just needs to chill out. He needs to relax. But this guy gets up in Roy's face. But before Roy can even put him down, this is when the diner literally explodes. And from that explosion, this is where we see Extract. Now, Extract, she is a bounty hunter. Not any kind of bounty hunter, but a multiversal bounty hunter that hunts down people that should not be on Earth Zero. And she is letting us know that Roy Harper, he does not belong here. And so she has come to extract him. And her men, they move in. And as they move in, one of these civilians almost gets hit. Roy goes to save this guy's life and ends up at the end of the barrel of Extract's gun. And so Roy Harper, he appears to be caught. He appears to be getting extracted wherever she is going to be taking him. But out of nowhere, we see a giant fist come out of him. This fist sending Extract flying into the sky. And Extract's men, they start opening fire on 4 black silhouettes. And these silhouettes throw these guys through the wall like they are just sacks of potato. And Roy Harper, sitting here in pain, thanking them, saying, "Whoever you are, thank you for saving me." But this is when he realizes that these are just light constructs, because he is wielding the Black Lantern ring. Alright guys, so as we jump into issue number 2, we are picking up at the Hall of Justice on Earth Zero. And we see Agent Chase making her way inside. Now Agent Chase, she was just recently re-recruited back into the DEO, recruited by Director Bones. Because as it stands, Earth Zero, the citizens of Earth Zero are absolutely terrified. After all of the events that have gone on, after Perpetua, after another reality-altering event, and now knowing that there is a greater omniverse out there, right now people are terrified. And so the DEO has been resurrected. It's been brought back so it can really have a formal investigation into everything that is going on. And Agent Chase, she's been given the task of finding out exactly all the information she can about what happened with Perpetua, with the Batman Who Laughs, and what kind of danger they might actually be in. Now we see Agent Chase have a conversation with Superman. Superman's still a little bit bitter towards her because she tried to have Lois Lane arrested. But as they make their way through the Hall of Justice, this is when they run into Batman. And Batman, of course, being the world's greatest detective, he already knows why Agent Chase is here. He knows that she is working off the books for Director Bones. Because after the last multiversal incident, Director Bones is very concerned about the multiverse, and she really tries to dig some information out of them, but they let her know that all the information she needs is in the field report that they issued to the department. And this is something she's already read. She's already gone over it. She already knows exactly what is in that file. She's trying to find the stuff that they left out, the stuff that wasn't added into it. But they really try to put her mind at ease, letting them know that they've opened up communications with all of these other worlds, and they're doing their best to try to keep these lines open, keep these communication lines open, so in case something does happen, everybody can react to it and they can prevent another perpetual type event happening. But Agent Chase really tells them, at the end of the day, people are just scared. Right now, they are absolutely terrified and saying the Justice League is taking care of it, it's just not doing the trick anymore. But in the midst of their conversation, this is when they get an alert. And Superman, he flies off in an instant. Batman doing some calculations on the computer before he heads out himself, and though she still wants to have some questions answered, she still wants to know where Wonder Woman is, because as it stands, no one's seen her and the Justice League has been real hush-hush about what happened to her. But as they zoom off, she gets on the phone with Director Bones and tells him that she wants to do a little bit more investigation into everything that is going on, because she knows the Justice League isn't telling them all of the information. But while she continues this investigation, Director Bones has a little side mission for her. He wants her to go and find Captain Atom to try to recruit him to the DEO. With his unique abilities, with his unique powers of manipulating time and space, he could be a huge asset to the department. But that's what will pick us up with the Union, our newly formed omniversal Justice League. And right now they are making their way from Earth to Earth, trying to collect fragments of a spaceship that crash landed. Using the help of Harbinger, they're tracking down all of the fragments that have been spread across the greater Omniverse. Now, as it stands, they don't really know a lot about this ship. They know that it appears somebody was trying to transport prisoners across the multiverse. And in doing so, something happened. There was a catastrophic failure, and it appears the ship, it crashed. But Machine Head has been collecting all of the pieces, and he's going to do his best to rebuild this ship. And that's what will pick us up at the House of Heroes, where we have Thomas Wayne currently talking with President Superman. And Thomas Wayne is really getting introduced to the idea of the multiverse and the omniverse. You know, in President Superman, they've already created like a handbook. Of course, Thomas Wayne, not wanting to read it because it looks too much like a comic book, if you will. But Thomas has come looking for Barry Allen and asking Harbinger where Barry Allen of Earth Zero actually is. He was last seen tracking and mapping all of the multiverse. But as it stands, there hasn't been any recent travel logs of where he might be. And this worries President Superman just a little bit, because this is out of character for Barry Allen. Barry Allen is one to always check in, always make sure that he's doing his logs. So it's a possibility that something happened to Barry Allen. Now, Thomas Wayne, he was on this ship that crashed all across the multiverse. The only thing he really remembers is being in Arkham. He was in Arkham, and this is when he sees some individual show up in his room. Now, we know this individual to be Extract, the bounty hunter that tried taking down Roy Harper in the last issue. And it appears her job is to take down people that don't belong on Earth Zero. And that's exactly what Extract was trying to do with Thomas Wayne, was trying to take Thomas Wayne away from Earth Zero because he did not belong there. But that will lead us to the question on where exactly were these prisoners being taken. But then Harbinger interjects and lets us know that fragments of the ship have been found on Earth 22. The only issue, their contact isn't answering any of their hails. And so President Superman and Thomas Wayne, they make their way to Earth 22, hoping that it'll jog some of Thomas Wayne's memories and he can figure out, they can all piece together exactly what was up with this ship. And as they arrive on Earth 22, they see a huge part of this ship crash landed, and as they come through the portal, they kind of have a little conversation here. Thomas Wayne wanting to keep it as it stands. He wants to remain dead to Bruce Wayne. He thinks it's just going to be for the better. But while they're having this conversation, this is when they get attacked. A giant energy blast comes flying in their direction. And looking up, this is where they see Magog. Now, President Superman, he believed this guy to be reformed. But with everything changing in the multiverse, with people being reborn, some people going missing, he theorizes that it is possible that he reverted back to the individual he was before he was reformed. And if that's the case, who else has reformed back to their old selves? But picking back up on Earth Zero, we're picking up with Alan Scott, Vandal Savage, Obsidian, and Mr. Terrific. And right now they're trying to figure out what happened to Jade. What happened to Alan Scott's daughter? Because Alan Scott and Obsidian, they were headed to meet up. And before they could get the opportunity to meet up, there was a giant fiery explosion. A fiery explosion the same color as Jade's flames. And as they stand in the wreckage, they can't find any body, any remnants of anybody ever being there. And so all they have is questions. There's nothing really answered for them here. Now they proposed the idea that Jade might not actually be here. She may have just disappeared. Because as it stands, there are still a handful of heroes that are missing. That we have no location of where they are, where they might be. We knew that they were in existence, but they are no longer around after this last event. You know, and everybody was supposed to come back. So it begs the question, where are these individuals? And why have they not returned when everybody else has? And Obsidian, he loses it for a second, because it could be a possibility that Jade is among those individuals. But Alan Scott tries to calm Obsidian, letting him know that they don't have all the facts. And they're going to continue their investigation. They're going to find out what happened to here and if Jade is among the individuals that is missing. Now, Obsidian, he wants to just start kicking butt. You know, Alan Scott, Obsidian, their family, they have a lot of enemies up to this point. And Obsidian wants to start just going and knocking on doors, kicking in doors, until they get some answers on what happened to his sister. And this is where we see Savage really live up to his name. And he starts being super rude to Alan Scott, telling him that his kid is nothing more than a distraction, that he needs to tell his brat to get out of here so they can focus on what needs to be done. And this is where we see Alan Scott just lay the smackdown on Savage. He may be immortal, but Alan Scott's gonna make sure that he wishes he were not, telling him to never talk about his kid in that manner again. And Mr. Terrific, he freaks out a little bit, but Alan Scott tells him straight up, you know, if I'm gonna have to choose between the Union, this new Justice League team, and my family, I'm gonna choose my family. And Obsidian, he opens up a portal, and him and Alan Scott, they are now dedicated to finding Jade. Not really knowing where to start, Alan Scott is gonna follow Obsidian's lead when it comes to knocking on doors and kicking them in. And as they make their way upon this journey, this is when we pick up with Roy Harper. Because right now, he is utterly confused. He has the Black Lantern ring, but he doesn't look dead. And so that's the confusing part. He's seen the Black Lantern ring in action before. And so we see him sitting here trying to figure out how to use the ring. This is all completely new to him, so he's trying to figure out how to operate it. Thinking more like Hal Jordan, making him think like the Green Lantern. And remembering some of the things that Hal Jordan said to him, it clicks in his head, and he figures out how to take control of the ring. And in doing so, we see it go on. And we see Roy Harper, Black Lantern. And he starts to do a little bit of practice. He makes some light constructs. He shoots it with his arrows. It's a little bit off, but it's pretty dang accurate if you're gonna try to nitpick it. And as he's doing this little field test, he knows that Hal Jordan's ring can talk to him. So he's trying to get this ring to talk to him, to try to figure out exactly why it ended up picking him. And this is when we see a giant explosion come from the ring, creating a light construct showing us Barry Allen strapped down in chains, Dr. Fate taken over by Darkseid, getting images, getting glimpses of Thomas Wayne, getting glimpses of his daughter. We see him completely enraged, and then Darkseid is. And we see his Black Lantern symbol turn into Darkseid. The Darkseid crest completely taking over, and we see Roy Harper turning into some kind of hideous monster lantern, and what appears to be Darkseid calling his Black Lantern to his side. And as Roy Harper shoots off in the distance, not too far off on a military installation base, this is where we pick up with Captain Atom. Captain Atom arriving at Metropolis Air Force Base. Going into his new barracks room, he is met by Agent Chase. Now they have a bit of pleasantries, they have a little bit of banter here as they begin their conversation, but she jumps straight to the point. Agent Chase tells him straight up, "We want you to join us. With your powers, with your abilities, you would be a huge asset to the DEO. But he tells her that he's flattered. But at this point, he is retired. He is trying to just live a regular, normal life. You know, he was given all of this stuff by the government as a kind of thank you. But at this point, there's no more room for him on the battlefield. He stepped off of the field, and now he just wants to have a relaxing, a calm life, and actually start to catch up on things that he's never got the opportunity to actually do. And Agent Chase, she brings up how this is out of character for him. How they were on that mission one time in Markovia, and he said that he would continuously always work as long as there were people needing help. And he goes to say that times have changed and he has changed, but Agent Chase tricked him because they never went on a mission together. They had never met prior to this encounter. And so she lifts up her gun and asks exactly who he is, what Earth he is from, because he is not Earth Zero's Captain Atom. And he fesses up. He lets her know, like, no, I am not the Earth Zero Captain Atom. I don't know where he is, but on my Earth, we are friends. We are actually very good friends. But I truly just wanted to be free. And he tells her, you know, you really don't understand what is happening in the multiverse right now. And as it stands, Captain Atom, he knows too much. He can't be taken in. And this is where we see him start to turn on fire. As he turns on fire, he starts ripping at his chest, saying that he's going to find out, and that he's going to end up coming for him. And as he claws into his chest, he says, "DARKSEID is." And we see Captain Atom go up in a giant freaking explosion. A mushroom cloud touching the heavens. And as this issue comes to a close, this is where we see Director Bones' multiversal mysteries to be solved. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 3, we're picking up with Alan Scott and Obsidian. And right now, they are making their way through all of their previous enemies, or at least anybody they know that may be responsible for Jade's disappearance. Now, Alan Scott, up to this point, he's been believing that it's somebody that has some kind of vendetta against him. And so these two have been making their way through all of their foes, trying to find any information on where Jade could be. And as they make their way through all of these villains, this is when they run into Shade. Now, Shade's a relatively older guy. He's been around since the golden age of comics. And he really didn't have a huge role in DC Comics for a long time until he was reinvented back in 1994. But he has a very unique power set. From shadow manipulation to being able to create kind of shadow constructs from darkness. And he's also essentially immortal. Now, Alan Scott came to him believing that if anybody is going to have information, it might be him. But Shade lets him know that he's not going to be any help. He doesn't know anybody that could hold a grudge against Alan Scott, and it's definitely not him. But he tells Alan Scott that it may not be one of your enemies. It may not be one of your foes. It could be something to do with the Legacy JSA. It could have to do with Obsidian or Jade herself. That it's quite possible you're looking in the wrong spots. And so that gives Obsidian an idea of where they need to look next. And then we're taken to Roy Harper, our new Black Lantern. And he is making his way through space right now. He was able to activate his ring, and in doing so, something took over him. Looking like something from Earth Omega, possibly even something to do with Darkseid. Roy Harper turned into a freaking zombie, and something was calling to him. But Roy Harper, he snaps out of this, and he finds himself floating in space. And at this point, he doesn't really know what to do. Because if he tries to activate this ring again, he's worried that he might turn into a zombie. That whatever is calling him is going to drag him in further. And he can't take off the ring or he'll just die in space. So his only thought process is he's going to sit here and he's going to wait for somebody to show up. Hopefully somebody runs into him and he can hitch a ride home. And it doesn't take long before a giant blinding light hits Roy Harper, and we see nothing but light. But this is when we're taken to Earth 22. And right now, we have President Superman standing off with Magog. Now, where we last left off, Magog was letting them know that they are not welcome here. And it was believed that he is reformed, and that is the case. He is technically reformed. But as it stands, he doesn't want anybody from the multiverse showing up here. Because as it stands, anytime somebody from the multiverse shows up, things go awry. Something happens and it is causing nothing but chaos on Earth 22. And right now his biggest issue is Thomas Wayne. Because as it stands, Thomas Wayne, he reeks of reality manipulation. Now Magog, he's ready to take out Thomas Wayne, but this is when we see Justice Incarnate show up. And they're letting Magog know that they're not going to respond to his threats. But President Superman, he eases the situation. He calms everybody down and he lets them know that they just want to check out this spaceship that crash landed here. Because as it stands, they have no idea what this is about or where it came from. And so Magog grants them the ability to at least examine this, and then he tells them that they need to get off the planet as soon as they're done. And upon examination, Justice Incarnate, they're not sure what to make of this. And Thomas, he brings up a great point. This point being Barry Allen can feel the different vibrations. When he's in each different multiverse, he can feel the different frequencies. And so Thomas's idea is if everybody touches this, it might react to them, and that might give them an idea of which multiverse it came from. And so we see everybody go ahead and touch the ship, and it reacts only to President Superman. And so this is gonna lead them down a path back to Earth 23. It's gonna lead them back to President Superman's homeworld, and they're gonna try to figure out exactly why and how this came from his world. Now this gives us a great insight to how the rest of the Earths are actually handling this new Omniverse. While President Superman, he really thought opening up the Omniverse, having the Justice Incarnate, jumping from multiverse to multiverse, he really thought this was going to bring some kind of unity, some kind of harmony and peace. But the reality is there are many Earths that are rejecting this idea, that they want nothing to do with this Omniverse, with the multiverse, and they just want to focus on their universe. But one of the biggest questions stands right now is, where is Barry Allen? Because as it stands, Wally West is currently the Flash in Central City. He has taken over the mantle and he is protecting Earth Zero. And Barry Allen has been tasked with mapping the Omniverse. But while he was out there doing all of this mapping, while he was out there being the pioneer, he ended up getting trapped by Psycho Pirate, landing on Earth Omega, having no idea what this place is. This is when he ran into Psycho Pirate, and Psycho Pirate now has him like on a wheel that is for a hamster, and he is going at top speeds. And Psycho Pirate is manipulating him, making him think that he is saving the day, making him think that he is being the hero. And so Barry Allen is pushing himself to his fullest limits. Now Psycho Pirate gives us a little bit of information here, letting us know that all of this started with Barry Allen, because he was the first individual to go from Earth 1 to Earth 2. And in doing this, there had to be some kind of repercussions. Now, as it stands, we have no idea what Psycho Pirate is up to. We can only assume that he is working for DARKSEID. And I believe they do have a little side story going on in the Infinite Frontier secret files. And we're actually going to dive into that here soon, and we're going to find out exactly what's going on there, because we're getting more of a backstory of Psycho Pirate in there that is going to be very pertinent moving forward with this storyline. But that's what will bring us to Bloodhaven. And we're picking up with Alan Scott and Obsidian making their way into this facility. And as they make their way in, we do see some really good dialogue between father and son. Two individuals that haven't really been able to connect well. We're seeing that both of them really do want to have some kind of relationship with each other. But as they're making their way through this facility, this is when they see Director Bones. Now, Director Bones, he's been jumping in and out of all of these comics, and right now he is the director of the DEO. They go chasing after the director only to run into a spaceship, and they're completely thrown off. They have no idea what the freak is going on here. They just see a spaceship, and it appears that they are loading some kind of cells, some kind of prisoner cells into this ship. And it doesn't take long for the arrival of Extract. Now, Extract is the bounty hunter that has been tasked with taking out anybody who doesn't belong on Earth Zero. Now, she's not going out here and killing them, they're just removing them. And this is all at the orders of Director Bones. in an attempt to try to preserve Earth Zero and give the people some kind of reassurance that their government is doing something to protect them. But Extract, she wasn't a match for Roy Harper. She is not gonna be a match for Alan Scott and Obsidian, no matter how many guys and how many goons they have here. And we see the two of them kick it into high gear and start beating some DEO butt. And while they're in the middle of all of this fighting, Alan Scott gets caught off guard. And that's because of Agent Chase. And she lets Alan know that he doesn't understand what is at stake, and that all they are trying to do is save their world. And before Alan Scott can ask any questions, she takes a giant cannon and blasts him. And that's what will take us back into space, picking up with a DEO spaceship, much like the one that we just saw, but this one is much different because this is the one that picked up Roy Harper in space. Now, they picked up Roy Harper, and Roy Harper has no idea who these guys are. And we're getting an introduction to Agent Hammond, and he's letting us know that he works for the DEO. And after the events of all this multiversal events going on, they were reinstated, but they were reinstated with a new purpose. They were reinstated with the sole purpose of protecting Earth Zero from any kind of foreign invaders. And that includes zombie Black Lanterns. And this is when he turns on him. All of the guards, they use a weapon modified using technology from sonar, causing his equilibrium to be scrambled, because this is Hector Hammond, the supervillain of Green Lanterns. And he may look a little different, and that's because when reality reset, he was kind of put on factory reset. And while he considers this a gift, it still leaves him with many questions. But this is when the ship goes into what they call the bleed. Now, the bleed is the space between all worlds in the multiverse, kind of like the white on comic book pages. And when they heard that Roy Harper was alive, they sent Extract to grab him, only to learn that he was now the owner of the Black Lantern ring. Now, with Roy on the ground and Hector taunting him, this conversation is quickly broken up because something is attacking them. Something is hitting them while they are in the bleed. And though Hector believes that this should not be possible, nonetheless it is happening, and everybody is jumping into high gear. And as everybody goes scrambling, this is when Roy Harper, he activates the ring. Activating the ring, he takes out a couple of the guards and he knocks Hector out. But in doing so, in activating this ring, he starts to turn into this freaking zombie again. And as we see Roy Harper starting to become zombified, this is where we learn the attackers, the ones attacking this ship, are none other than Infinite Incorporated. And if you're wondering who the heck is Infinite Incorporated, these guys are kind of like the heirs to the JSA. They are the legacy to the JSA. Appearing in the comics back in the 80s, we saw a bunch of different individuals going on this team, to include Huntress, to include Power Girl, Obsidian, Jade, Northwind, and a few others. And now that we have the Omniverse, we're seeing the opportunity to bring all of these individuals into one freaking comic. And I am absolutely here for it. But that will be the end of this issue. Alright gang, so as we dive into Infinite Frontier, we're picking up on Earth 23, with President Superman and Thomas Wayne currently in the White House. Seeing them both decked out in some phenomenal suits, just looking fly as ever, Thomas has to ask the question, how did you end up becoming not only President of the United States, but you're also freaking Superman? And though, it's a long story, it's definitely Thomas Wayne would love to hear. And the president, he's been away for like 24 hours. So Congress, everybody, they're real curious on what's going on, where he's been, and how they're going to handle all this multi-dimensional, multi-universal stuff going on. Because the regular civilians, the regular people, they're genuinely worried right now. Nobody knows what to expect. But setting all of that aside, telling her that he's going to get to all that information a little bit later, we see the White House transformed into a fortress of solitude. And President Superman, his reasoning for this is why keep it somewhere so far away when I can literally just turn my office into that and people think the door is locked. And they begin a search for Lex Luthor. Now, what we've seen so far throughout the line is kind of interdimensional time-traveling ships making their way throughout the multiverse. One of these ships ended up crashing, and so right now they're trying to piece this ship back together to bring it back to life. But in the meantime, President Superman, he really believes that Lex Luthor is the individual responsible for building these. And so everything is on the search for him right now. He is the next piece of the puzzle to figuring out exactly what is going on here and what is happening. And it doesn't take long for them to find all of the locations where he could possibly be. Superman running out and eliminating all but one location. They now have the whereabouts of where Lex Luthor is. And so with both of them ripping their suits off, exposing Batman and Superman, they make their way to Lex Luthor. Making it to his secret hideout, they break down doors, they punch robots, but getting inside, they are very let down. Because as they get inside, the only thing they find is a corpse. They find the body of Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor was murdered. And after looking at the walls, they can see the blueprints for the ships. So it is very obvious that Lex Luthor, he is the one that built these ships. More than likely, he built them for somebody else. And in doing this, after they were built, after the designs were made, it looks like they killed Lex Luthor. Now, we know these ships to belong to Director Bones. And that's what's going to take us to Earth Zero, because Bones is the one responsible behind all of this. And Agent Chase is having a real hard time coming to terms with everything that they are doing, because as it stands, she signed on to ensure that there was no changes to their planet due to the multiverse, not to go out there and start imprisoning people because they think that they might have some kind of effect on their Earth. Now, Agent Chase, she's really worried because before that, Captain Atom from another Earth arrived. Before he blew up, before Extract saved her life, he said one thing. He said, "DARKSEID is." And he tells her to just ignore this. And this is when they walk into a room where they have Alan Scott and Obsidian, father and son, currently tied up, and they are freaking livid, trying to figure out where Jade is, knowing that Director Bones is responsible for something going on, something that happened to her, wanting to find her. But Bones lets them know that that is the least of their problems, because they are going to stay here imprisoned. And now these two can only hope that the Justice League make their arrival to help them, to save them and stop Director Bones from everything that he has been doing. And Bones really divulges his overall plan here to Agent Chase, letting her know that these two are going to go into a deep dark hole. And that's so they don't affect their Earth. It's all in an effort to try to protect Earth Zero. Try to protect it from all of these heroes that could have a negative effect on it. The ones that don't belong here. And with their world constantly being under attack, the most dangerous individuals come from the outside. And they can't take another time-altering space event, and the heroes do nothing to cut it off at the past. And so he made a deal with somebody. He made a deal to ensure that this Earth will always be protected. Now, after Agent Chase has heard enough of this, she pulls out her pistol and she shoots him in the leg, stopping both of them from leaving the ship. Bones lets her know that she just made a grave mistake because they're going to a place that doesn't have endings. A place that is absolutely horrible. Simply put, that she has doomed them both. Now this is where we pick up with the other ship out in the bleed. The ship that has Roy Harper on it. Not only is Roy Harper on this, but we also have members of the JSA. Not only that, this is also Jade. And with them making their arrival on this ship, trying to free anybody that was on it, they see a Black Lantern. And seeing a Black Lantern, everybody attacks. Because everybody knows Black Lanterns, they're the bad guys. They're guys we don't want to mess with. But Jade quickly learns that this is Roy Harper. And not only that, that he's not trying to attack. and going up to him, trying her best to make sure that he knows it's not a danger, that she and them are not going to hurt him. We see him transform from the monster back into Roy Harper. And this is such an awesome interaction here. You know, Roy Harper finally seeing Jade again. We got Atom Smasher, we got Wildcat, we got mother freaking Power Girl in the house. And that's one of the reasons I am absolutely loving Infinite Frontier, is because we're getting our heroes from all different ages thrown into one story. And while you may think it might be a little bit messy, Infinite Frontier has really played it in a great manner. But after a little bit of pleasantries, Jade lets them know that she found what was remaining of the JSA being scattered all across to the four winds. She gathered up what she could. But it wasn't long before Extract made her arrival, trying to arrest all of the members of the JSA that were currently here. They all fought back, but something happened. Something happened and they are all transported into the bleed. They were transported next to this ship with Roy Harper in it. And so all of them making their way to this ship, they get on board and this is where they are at now. And after looking at the ship, they realize that the ship has a pre-designated location, coordinates already set into place for them to go. Now they don't really know where this location is, but if they so badly wanted to take them there, to imprison them there, they're gonna go. They're gonna go and find out exactly who is behind all of this and why. And so we see the ship take off. And the ship, it ends up at Earth freaking Omega. And Roy Harper, he immediately knows what this is. The Ring has been showing him this, knowing that this has something to do with Darkseid. The Ring wanted him to come here. He felt it inside of him every time. And as they look around, what they see out in the sky is Anti-Monitor's shadow demons. We see Barry Allen running like a madman, psycho pirate, laughing and controlling him like a little hamster on a hamster wheel. And real quickly, the JSA are recognizing that they might be out of their freaking league here. They don't know what they just jumped into. They don't know anything except that they got freaking shadow demons everywhere, Darkseid, the Barry Allen, psycho pirate. Like, they're seeing all of this and they're just like, holy shit. Like, we gotta get out of here, and we gotta get out of here right freaking now. But before they get the opportunity to leave, they are crashed into by the other ship. Both of them were on autopilot. Both of them brought them to the same exact location. And because of this, they crash into one another. So the ship that Director Bones is on, the Agent Chase, Extract, and the ship Roy Harper and the JSA are on just crashed into one another, which means they are going to be stuck here stranded on Earth Omega. And a mayday goes out. It beacons out all the way to the House of Heroes. But the thing is, Harbinger, she silences the alarm. And so when President Superman and Thomas Wayne make their way back, they hear no alarm, they hear no mayday, they have no idea of what is going on. And so not knowing exactly where to go now, after finding Lex Luthor dead, they need to try to find Barry Allen. But Metalhead lets them know that there has still been no location on Barry Allen yet. And so they're trying to dive in, trying to figure out their next clue, trying to figure out what next step they have. The only issue is Harbinger isn't giving them access to things, and that's causing a lot of problems. This makes President Superman start to question a lot of things on what exactly is going on, why he doesn't have access. And as President Superman dives in and tries to figure out what's going on, he finds a hidden message from Barry Allen of Earth Zero. A message that simply let everybody know that death follows. And learning of Earth Omega, he's finding out everything that is going on. As Captain Carrot makes his entrance, he tells them to initiate Justice Incarnate, to get everybody in here and to call in the reserves, to call in Earth Zero's Justice League. They're gonna need all hands on deck if they're gonna be able to go to Earth Omega and take on whatever is going on there. But this is where we see Machine Head. I said Metalhead earlier, I think. It's definitely Machine Head. Metalhead is from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But we see Machine Head attack Thomas Wayne, sending a giant energy blast in his direction. This blast puts him down. And then he immediately turns on the rest of them. Turning on the rest of them, he blasts them as well. And he's not even sorry about this. He makes it very well known that he is not sorry. And the reason behind why he is doing this is because his Earth, Earth 8, was invaded many years ago by an alternate reality. They tried so hard to fight the war in secret, but ultimately they lost. He had lost. And for years he had questioned how this was possible. And everything points to Earth Zero. And his goal isn't to end the multiverse. He just wants to keep all of the universes separate from one another, so one universe can't invade the other. But oddly enough, he was not the only individual that wanted this. And so individuals from all across the multiverse, they came together to create this barrier between all universes. They came together to bring down President Superman and all the members of his newfound team to end the crossovers completely and forever. And this is where we see the birth of some injustice. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 5, we are getting tons of information in this line. One of the most important things that we are learning is this Psycho Pirate is from Earth 2. He's from the Earth 2 before the first big crisis. And when the multiverse was recreated, his Earth 2 was no longer existing. It was replaced by a brand new fancy one. And with everything being recreated, with everything coming back into existence, we saw the resurrection of Psycho Pirate. And this put a really bitter taste in his mouth. For more than one reason, because Earth Zero always seemed to be the one to maintain. No matter what, at the end of the day, as long as Earth Zero was preserved, it was hailed as a good job, as a mission complete, as a mission success, ignoring all of the casualties along the way. And that is how he was able to recruit Machine Head and Director Bones into his organization, all under the command of Darkseid. Darkseid promising to keep all of their Earths safe, to keep all of their Earths separate. They just have to pledge allegiance to him. And he just didn't do it with these two Earths. He went to Earth to Earth to Earth, finding anybody and everybody who would join his cause. Even individuals like the Yellow Lantern Joker. But that's what's going to take us to Earth Omega present day. With our two ships crash landing here, our heroes don't know what to expect. And with our heroes not knowing what to expect from this place, not knowing what could be around any corner, believing Darkseid to be here, we see Director Bones, he's losing it right now, because this is the last place he wanted to be. He had made a deal. If he were to sacrifice individuals to bring them here to Earth Omega, that their Earth would be preserved. And he chose heroes because they have the cosmic energy inside of them. And that energy can be exploited, and that's exactly what Darkseid wants. And Director Bones, he had started with the JSA specifically because he believed nobody would notice that they were even gone. No one would remember that they were even around. So if he got rid of them very quickly, there would be no sign of them and no one would be the wiser. Though Extract did grab Jade much too quickly. And before a fight is able to break out between Alan Scott and Director Bones, this is where we see Jade come in and put Director Bones right in the ground. And as everybody gathers up and tries to figure out what they're gonna do next, they know that they need to free the Flash. Right now, currently working like a freaking hamster on a hamster wheel, we have Roy Harper looking for his daughter, believing that she is here somewhere, the ring telling him that she is here. And while he searches, this is where we see Extract. And we finally learn who Extract is, the true identity of Extract. And Extract is Agent Chase, being from the original Earth 2. After learning of everything that happened, wanting to preserve her life and her Earth, she agreed to join up with Director Bones. And Psycho Pirate makes his entrance. But Psycho Pirate did not come alone either. And this is where we see Injustice Incarnate make their arrival. And in an instant, we see this battle begin. And we see the JSA in full swing. They are giving it to Injustice. But in all of this fighting, the prime objective is to free Barry Allen, because if Barry Allen completes what he is doing, then they are all going to be screwed. And right now, Barry Allen, he thinks that he is running to save everybody he loves. Psycho Pirate has gotten into his mind, and so he thinks he is doing the best possible thing. He is running at his fullest capacity, trying to save everything and everyone he loves. Little does he know, this will bring their full destruction. And with everybody fighting, we see President Superman breaking free of the chains that came out of randomly nowhere. And as President Superman flies over to save Barry Allen, this is when Machine Head intercepts him, and these two begin to duel it out. And as these two fight, they argue over the morality that everything that Earth-Zero has done. I mean, even Barry Allen, he went back in time to save his mother, causing the Flashpoint, but having ripples out throughout the entire multiverse. And some of these cracks, it caused things to happen. Those effects, it affected Earth 8, made it darker, and made it a much harder world to live in. But he admits he did kill his Lex Luthor. Not only did he kill Lex Luthor, he also stole something from him. What he stole was Meta Knight, the one weakness of President Superman. And the reason Thomas Wayne is here is because Thomas Wayne is a remnant of the world that caused his Earth 8 to go down the darker, more harder path. And because of that, he wanted to make that Earth pay. Being that Earth is now completely destroyed, Thomas Wayne is going to endure all of the pain he was going to put on that planet. And we see the chain start to wrap up not only President Superman, but the entirety of the JSA. Because these are Omega chains. These are coming from Earth Omega itself. With everybody there, all of their connections to the multiverse, their powers, it's all giving power to Earth Omega. And this place is a prison world, and is a signification of no more multiverse travel, no more connections between worlds, and Darkseid now has the power to control all of this. This will cause everything to slow down, and it has no idea what kind of ramifications it could have on the bigger Omniverse. And with everybody getting tied up, everybody except for Roy Harper, our Black Lantern, because this is the final piece to everything. The ring on his finger. Now at this point, Roy Harper, he's pretty much understood, he gets it. The ring is not from Earth-Zero. And Psycho Pirate tells him that it's not. It's actually something else disguised. Something much darker and something much, much older. Because when the multiverse had been restored, it unlocked a lot of different things. When the Batman Who Laughs transformed the world into his image, Batman had used the Black Lantern ring to resurrect the dead, including Roy Harper. And so that is why he's living. But this ring chose him for a very specific reason. The ring searches for someone who has suffered great amount of losses. And Roy Harper has a history of letting the darkness inside him. He knows pain and isolation. He was the perfect bullseye for a target. And so when the multiverse was recreated, the ring went out and it searched for somebody who suffered. And he became the new Avatar. And though this ring has tremendous amounts of power, the ring will take over and it turns him into a mindless creature of the dark. And so he tells Roy Harper that he will offer the same deal he offered Bones. If he helps them right here, right now, he will leave Earth-Zero alone. He will leave his daughter alone. But this is when Roy Harper pieces together that his daughter isn't actually on Earth Omega. She is back on Earth-Zero. She is nice and safe right now, which means he is free to let freaking loose. And with this ring being powered by his suffering, he's got a lot of it pent up. And we see him unleash the power of this ring. Unleashing the full potential of the ring, he sends out little shadow avatars that cut and release all of the JSA and all of our heroes. And as we see the entirety of the JSA come descending upon Psycho Pirate, this is where a portal opens up. And from that portal, a shadowy figure stands. And as it moves closer, we know who this is. It is the one and only Darkseid. he makes his arrival to the battlefield with Roy Harper in chains, him completely turned into this mindless creature of a zombie. This is no Black Lantern. This is the Omega Lantern. This is the freaking Silver Surfer of Darkseid. And now that he has him, he will control all. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 6, we're picking up on Earth Omega, with Roy Harper, our Omega Lantern, currently chained up by Darkseid. And as Darkseid stands on the cliff, he overlooks the battle and he knows that this day will be theirs, letting us know that the Quintessence, they witnessed his birth back into the multiverse, with all of his past versions being combined into one ultimate Darkseid. The Quintessence, they had hoped to imprison him here on Earth Omega, but this is where they met their end. And for eons, he has sought to conquer the entire multiverse with the anti-life equation. But now he has found something that is much darker and much more powerful. And once Barry Allen cracks through the multiverse, he's going to be able to access a door, and the Omega Lantern is the key to getting in. And so through the Omega Lantern, he controls the greatest force in any and all multiverses. And as Darkseid lords over the battlefield, this is where we see Obsidian and Starheart make their attack, both of them going in and trying to rescue Roy Harper. If anybody knows how to deal with the darkness, that somebody is going to be Obsidian. And we see Obsidian wrap Roy Harper up. Wrapping him up, he is reminding Roy Harper that he is not alone. He is bringing him back down, and we slowly see Roy Harper returning back to normal. We're seeing that darkness in him slowly start to disappear. And with Roy Harper now being free from Darkseid's grasp, President Superman, he goes to free Barry Allen. But as he goes to do this, he gets stopped by Machine Head. With President Superman getting blindsided, we see Thomas Wayne step in. He steps in and he goes toe-to-toe with Machine Head. Machine Head blaming him for everything that has happened, wanting to take out all of his anger on him. This is where we see the two brawl, and we see Machine Head beat the crap out of Thomas Wayne. But while Thomas Wayne was taking this beating, it was giving President Superman just enough time to really recharge and get back in this fight. And this is where we see President Superman blindside Machine Head. And this gives him the opportunity to go rescue the Flash, to rescue Barry Allen. And with President Superman flying through, he collapses all of this building, all of this structure that was built, this hamster wheel that Barry Allen is on. But as President Superman crashes through this, we see Barry Allen, he disappears. A beam of energy goes flying into the sky, and it crashes, cracking something up in the sky. This protective barrier is getting destroyed. And in an instant, we see a blinding light and a deafening sound. And as everybody looks around, as they look to the sky, they see planets, they see multiverses everywhere. And with Roy Harper now being free from the ring, Darkseid tells them that nobody is free, that they are all now doomed. With the ring going quiet and the Flash being gone, the crack that he was looking for is now lost. And so for the time being, the greater Omniverse has been stolen from him. Not only that, but Psycho Pirate, he failed him. And before there can be punishment dished out to him, we see Psycho Pirate disappear. With Psycho Pirate disappearing, Machine Head, he tries to plea with him. He tries to plea with Darkseid and tell him that this can be fixed, that he can fix all of this. But without hesitation, we see the Omega beams come out and they slice right through Machine Head. With President Superman trying to stop this but not making it in time, he goes on a full frontal attack, going straight for Darkseid. But this is where we see Darkseid teleport everybody out of here. His own children, his own minions, the bad guys, the good guys, every single person, he teleports out of here. And in that instant, they find themselves back at home base. With Machine Head now being gone, Harbinger is now back online. And Justice Incarnate, they are really trying to figure out what the heck is going on. All they know is Darkseid sent them back, not just them, but Justice Incarnate as well. And at this point in stage, they have no clue why Darkseid spared them, what purpose this means, or anything of that nature. The only thing they know is that they need to find the Flash. They need to find Barry Allen before Darkseid does. They need to find that crack in the Omniverse before Darkseid can get to it. And President Superman says it is time to call in everybody. Call in the entirety of Justice Incarnate. Bring them all in because it is time for the multiverse to be saved by some heroes. And that's what's going to take us to Earth Zero. A couple days later, we have Agent Chase and Roy Harper having a conversation. And really it's them just being thankful they're alive, not really knowing what's next, but trying to figure out what their next course of action is going to be. Because as it stands, Alan Scott, Obsidian, Jade, and the rest of the JSA, they all went back to the Totality. They checked in there and they're monitoring anything for Darkseid or Psycho Pirates. And as it stands, there were no changes to the space-time continuum. But on a bad note, Earth Omega has been hidden from them. Having no idea where this place is, they have no way of currently tracking down the whereabouts of Darkseid. And Agent Chase, she really wants to be the greatest version of herself out there in the multiverse. After meeting Extract, after being on Earth Omega, it made her really question who she is, what her place is in all of this. But after all of this that they've been through, she really believes that she can be the greatest Chase out there. And Roy Harper, of course, his priority number one is getting back to his daughter. And that all starts by going to the Teen Titan Academy, to going to Titan Tower, heading back to San Francisco and letting people know that he is back in the land of the living. But that's what's going to take us to Earth Omega. And we have Darkseid currently holding out the Omega Ring out to Extract. And he lets them know that they don't understand what was unlocked today. A power far greater than any of them can comprehend. And this was just the beginning stages. And the reason he let all of them live is because all of them have a role to play in the coming wars. Not just the good side, but his family as well. And while they have feuded for years and years, he is ready to set all of that aside for what is about to come. And he tells everybody that Earth Omega, it was never a world. He says that it is a piece of a resting enemy, one laying dormant since the first crisis. And now it has finally awakened, saying that their primary mission right now is to find the Flash and the crack in the Omniverse. Though Darkseid is not the only individual seeking out this power, he vows he will be the only one to control this great darkness. And that's what's going to pick us up with Barry Allen. Picking up with the Flash, he is being spit out some random place. He has no idea where he is, why he is here, or how he even got here. But as he starts to get his wits of him, he looks around and he recognizes this place because he has been here before. He has been here when he died. And as Barry Allen looks up to the sky, what he sees is Multiverse number 2. This is what came before, destroyed by the Anti-Monitor in the first crisis. And from the rubble, this is where we see Pariah, the one forced to witness the destruction of everything. No matter how much he tries, no matter how hard he tries to warn people, it is always met with the same fate, having to watch Earth after Earth completely destroyed. And Pariah tells Barry Allen that the Anti-Monitor, he destroyed it. All of this, and Alexander Luthor, he tried to find the perfect world, and Darkseid, he wishes to control it. But he says that they all have it wrong, that there is another way. And he tells Barry Allen that it is time that they all moved on. They stop apologizing for the past and let the real multiverse truly live. And with him touching the chest of Barry Allen, we see him start to disintegrate, kind of like the touch of Dr. Manhattan. And with Barry Allen disappearing into nothingness, we show back up at Earth 1. with Barry Allen sitting around the table with everybody he loves, everybody he cares about. But Pariah has taken something, holding what appears to be a Flash symbol and the Earth inside of it. Possibly he is collecting flashes, not knowing what is going on here, but Pariah is going to play a big part in what is going to come next. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We got a ton of information dumped on us. We're finding out that this is the ultimate version Darkseid. Every version of him put together into one. We're seeing the battle that happened on Earth Omega end relatively quickly, with the Flash Barry Allen being able to make his escape. This is the only thing that stopped Darkseid this day, because it appears that whoever's going to take the Omega ring, it doesn't have to be anybody in particular. It just has to be somebody willing to do his bidding, to take in the darkness of the ring and guide them, be that key to open up that door. It's going to be really awesome to see Roy Harper thrown back into the mix, heading to the Teen Titan Tower right now. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of role he's going to play in everything that moves forward. And throwing Pariah into the mix is a very interesting direction to go. You know, a lot of us have seen Pariah, be it the CW or you read the comics way back in the day and you saw his first appearance in Crisis. But he's an individual that usually shows up at catastrophic events. He's usually not one to really have much to do with the comings and goings of everything going on. So him interfering here, him doing whatever he did to Barry Allen, it's going to be really interesting to see that play out in the coming comics. I believe it says coming in 2022. Now, we didn't see Wonder Woman like I was hoping that we got to see in this. And all the writers so far, they've said that, you know, Future State is the worst possible case scenario. But as it stands, everything is leading in that direction. And even after this Infinite Frontier run, it appears that we're still headed in the direction of Future State. And so I am very curious to see what's going to change, how all of this is going to be altered so Future State doesn't come to fruition. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.